Next, let's see number 4. Now, here is mentioned about a very famous leader, a very famous person who tried to bring changes in this country on whatever was happening wrong with the country. So, his name is Ram Mohan Roy, and the time period here given is 1772 to 1833. So he was a person who belonged to Bengal. He was from Bengal, and he had understood, because he was a well read person, educated person. He could understand what was going on in the country. So what does he say? Let us not despise ourselves, let us not hate ourselves. Our ancient culture is great. Whatever our culture is, whatever our culture has taught us from the ancient times, it is great. We are capable of greater achievements. We can achieve much more. But we have to reform our society. We have to change our society, their outlook. They are gripped. They have been thinking about superstitious lately. They have become superstitious, and because of this superstitious nature of the people, they are ruining themselves. They are only bringing their own downfall. So he told his wife, so Raja Rammohan's wife, Uma, he told her that cows are of different colors, but the color of their milk is the same. Different teachers have different opinions, but the essence of every religion is the same. So that was a very important thing that Raja Ram Mohan Roy said. What did he say? He said that people may be of different color, but at heart they are all human beings, isn't it? So every religion, there may be different kind of essence, there may be different opinions, but what does it teach? It teaches to not hate each other. It teaches us to love each other, to be united, isn't it? So that is the essence, the main thing which Raja Ram Mohan Roy wanted to tell the people. He wanted to educate the people that they should be practical, they should think scientifically and not just believe in superstitions. So to educate the people, to make them aware of what was going on, he started newspapers. But the British got suspicious. The Britishers were very much suspicious. They thought that this might ruin their business or whatever they thought. They stopped those newspapers in 1823. So now what did Raja Ram Mohan Roy do? He crossed the seas. He went to England to see what made the British powerful, and there he told them. So he had finally crossed the sea. He had gone to their own country and told them, we accept you as rulers, and you must accept us as subjects. But you must remember the responsibility a ruler owes to his subjects. So there he went. He went to England and he told those Britishers that you may be our rulers, you may be ruling us, we may be your subject, we may be under the rule of your company or your rulers, but you have to remember, means the Britishers have to remember, that they also have a responsibility, that they are also having some work to do on their behalf as the ruler, because the ruler cannot do whatever he likes. He also has to take care of his subjects. That is also his responsibility. For example, if our country is being run by a minister, if our state is being run by a minister, it is their duty to take care of the people, isn't it? So that is what Raja Ram Mohan Roy went to England and told to the British rulers. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let's move on to the next bubble, that is oppression. Oppression means when someone else tries to suppress someone else. Means like the Britishers they suppressed the Indian people. They took advantages of the Indian people. But even after reminding the Britishers, even after Raja Ram Mohan did all this, the British did not change their habits. They continued to oppress Indians, they continued to suppress them. And in 1818 they passed a act. It was the Regulation 3, and it was said that even without trial, means if the person had done nothing wrong also, he would be put in jail, and no one would ask why he was put in jail. So that was a rule that was taken out. So the British officers were looting the country like anything. Though they were the rulers, they were only gaining their own profit. And in 1829, British was exporting British goods worth 7 crore rupees to India. So they had made India as a hub for profit. They were profiting from this exports like anything. They prospered, and on the other hand, however, they looted the Indian industries, which began to die, which had already begun to die. So there was this Governor General Bentinck, and he had reported back home, means in England, he had reported that the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India. Means the cotton weavers, means the people who used to weave clothes, they had nothing more left. They were dying because of this loss of livelihood. Next is dissatisfaction. The time period here is 1835-56. Education in India was in Persian and Sanskrit. In 1835, an Englishman named Macaulay suggested a change. We should teach the natives through the English language. So here is the first change that took place in the year 1835. So Macaulay was a person, he had written a book, My Minutes, and in this book he said that instead of learning Persian and Sanskrit, the Indian people should learn English language, because it would not benefit the Indian people. Instead, it would benefit them, because it would become easier for them to talk to the native people. So this kind of education, English education, produced clerks to whom the British gave petty jobs. Means finally some natives learned the language and they were given very small jobs, and it also produced a new generation. But this change also led to a change in the education system. Many people, however, gained knowledge of what was actually happening. They became intellectuals, means very bright-minded people, and these intellectuals decided that they should educate their brothers in the sense the countrymen. They should educate them about the material conditions, about what is going on. They should know what is all about the British Parliament, how the Britishers are ruling them. So by the time 1856, the Britishers had already conquered, they had already expanded their rule all over the country, all over India, and they did not care anything about Indians. They had nothing that they needed from the Indians. They just cared about all is their own profits. The kings were just like nominal heads. They had nothing to do. They had become puppets. Means whatever the Britishers would say, they would agree to it. They had lost all their things, and now the next thing that the Britishers were doing, were they converting, they were changing the religion of the people. Means they were encouraging the natives to convert themselves into Christianity and other religions of their own. Now what happens? Sparks. So all of you must have heard about the great Battle of Independence, the first Battle of Independence, that was in 1857. So all this suppression, oppression by the Britishers had made the people angry, and finally what happens is they could no longer take it. They could no longer resist all these things. They had become desperate, and finally there rose a rebellion, there rose a fight against the Europeans, and this began in Bengal. The Santals, the local people of that Bengal, they had lost the lands, they had lost all the land, and they massacred Europeans and their supporters. So this kind of discontent, this kind of displeasure was going on throughout the country. And what happened next? Slowly this oppression encouraged the customs that the people had. The Englishmen did not consider it, they did not understand it, but this kind of behavior, this only angered the people, and slowly they started planning a revolt against the white men. And finally the revolt has taken place, and Bahadur Shah was the last emperor. So the rebellion spread wider. Many landlords had lost their lands, means the zamindars and so-called the rich people, they had lost their policies, lands, whatever, and they also took part in it, and they also decided that the white man's rule must end. So this story, this chapter, is talking about all the incidents that were responsible for the changes, for the revolt, for the first independence struggle that took place in India. And finally, the last bubble, the fight for freedom. So now the rulers also, first the rulers were thinking that the Britishers had come to help them, but now the rulers also, they also thought that now they have to go against these rulers. Who were these rulers? These rulers were like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow. She was angry equally. Then there were leaders who came out like Maulvi Ahmedullah of Faizabad. He also encouraged the people to go against the white rulers. Then there is Azimullah Khan, Tatia Tope, Peshwa Nana Sahab. So these are some of the famous names of the fighters who took part in the 1857 revolt. Okay, so here you can see that this chapter is actually a glimpse, is actually a short detail about what happened, what events led to the great 1857 revolt of India, which is often considered as the first independence struggle of India. So I hope you have understood this chapter, and if you have not, then you can also look at the chapters in your social textbook, especially of history part, because the chapter is related to history. You can look at those chapters. You can read about the 1857 revolt, and you can find out many other facts from that part. So here are some questions which you may go through. There are some options where you will find that questions are asked based on those speech bubbles. I hope you have understood the chapter.